Thank you very much.
How grumpy were you at half-time, Ken? What was the message?
I wasn't grumpy. I think that was really important that I needed to be clear with the boys, because I thought the first quarter we'd played okay and didn't reward ourselves a little bit, but then second quarter we got beaten badly in a couple of phases of the game that we pride ourselves on, and that'd be contests and a bit of defensive shape. So we didn't really do that well. I pointed that out clearly to the boys at half-time, but it was a good sign, I think, for me, for the maturity of the team and the group, that they realised what wasn't working so well for them, and they were capable of change, which makes a big difference in an AFL game.
Zach Butters and Ollie Wines really stepped up for you in that middle.
Yeah, I thought Zach was out. I mean, Zach and that group of midfielders, they all play well. Zach was great again, outstanding. Connor, Ollie, look, Willem Drew played a pretty big part in the second half for us. It was important for us too. And then our forwards got some battles done, which we were getting beaten pretty badly in the first half, or particularly the second quarter.
Is that a good sign of, like, Todd Marshall, for example, slow start to the day and just shining his maturity, the way he was able to warm into become your best forward by the end of the day?
Oh, I feel like that's the whole team a little bit, and Todd's an example of that, because he's maturing as a player, and he's had some major interruptions to his pre-season, so he's just building his season, I think, and along with Charlie, I feel like they're both building, and that's really positive for us, that we know there's some better stuff coming from them. But as I said, I think it's a great sign of the team, that the maturity factor, that some people, and some important people today, people we brought into the club. I think Zerk Thatcher was outstanding, I thought, behind the footy for us, and I thought Ivan Soldo really gave us a look inside the contest. So some of the things that we've done in the off-season, we certainly got some good reward for today.
Just on Soldo, can you take us inside that battle? Obviously a big game for him, coming up against the club he just left and coming up against Toby Nankervis.
Yeah, I think it was really, I think that some of the stories in footy are okay to celebrate from both sides of the coin, I reckon. And Ivan loved his time and his premiership player for the Richmond Footy Club. He should and always will love the Richmond Football Club, but he needed to make it a career decision for himself, because their captain was in his way and he wasn't probably going to get past as a ruck option to become number one ruck. He made a decision that he needed to chase his career at his stage in his career, and we were a perfect fit. So there's a clear win-win in that situation. I think that he comes to us from Richmond, not so much with their blessing, but understanding why he made the decision to come. And I thought that's a great decision for him to make for himself personally, but for us as a team, outstanding. But to leave a club that he really respected.
Do you feel like the early signs are really promising? I mean, everyone talked about it in that trade period. You went out and plugged some holes that you needed to in your list. You mentioned Zerk Thatcher, Radical Lee's coming as well. Soldo, you wanted to upgrade the ruck side of things. Do you feel like the early signs are really promising that you've done the right thing there? Yeah,
I think that's really clear. It is early, and it is very early. It's we've seen a pre-season with them together. We know that growth's going to get hopefully better, but AFL footy is really tough. It's not always going to be straight up. It's for us, it's a matter of learning about them and them learning about the way we play. You can't do that in 4 games of football in a pre-season, but they'll get better as the season goes. But we identified what we needed. Jason did, and he went and found them and brought them in, and hopefully we can maximise what they bring to us.
You said pre-game that all travel wanted today is a win.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, given the milestone, how important was it today for the job done?
There's absolutely no doubt that to celebrate a milestone as great as Travis Boakes was today, you needed a win. Now, we can say that now because we've got the breathing space of having that victory, but it would have been hollow for Trav to be our games record holder, a champion of our football club, so committed all the way through to Port Adelaide Football Club, to play his 350th game at the MCG, and I'm sure when we get home next week, the local fans the Port family there will make sure his 351st game is also pretty important. But yeah, 100%. I think Travis deserved a victory, and you don't always get what you deserve in life, unfortunately. And for him today, I'm so proud of the way he handled the whole week and the way the boys responded for him. I think in the second half, forget everything else, they wanted to make sure Travis went off a winner.
Was that mentioned at half-time? You just sort of referenced there. Like, was that something that you discussed?
When you care about each other, you don't have to mention it.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And I think this group are incredibly caring towards each other, because we have so many people come from so many different places that it's an obvious thing that happens probably as much for interstate clubs, I reckon. There is some disadvantages of being interstate, but one of the advantages is they really do come together really tight, and they all know what Travis means for our footy club.
Ken, no disrespect to the opponents you've played so far, but are you really looking forward forward to the test against Melbourne next week to see where you're
No,
at
not really.
a fellow
No, I'm not really looking forward to it at all. But look, you should never disrespect this competition because it's so hard. You know, it's really, really hard. Richmond at the MCG, their home track, in front of their people. They're always hard wins, and you know, first gamers of the year are always difficult games. And I'm just pleased that we got through the first two. And when we go next week against, you know, one of the great clubs over the last 4 or 5 years, and play a really brutal contested game of football, so it's going to take our absolute best.
Will Jason Francis be there, or will he miss some footy?
Yeah, we're optimistic that he'll be there, but again, we won't take a risk. It's just too early in the season to put anything at risk, whether it's Jason or whether it's any player. We've just got to be very cautious that it's a long season. Maybe I'm learning that a little bit better. I think that's really important that, yes, you've got to put a price on every victory, but you've also got to put a price on being healthy at the end. And I know it's early to be talking about the end, but I've got to learn some stuff.
What about Lockie Jones with his calf?
It's just a corky, so we expect that he'll be okay, but it is a corky. It was pretty decent cork. It blew up pretty quick, so he did a great job. He did in the first quarter and stayed out there to halfway through the third quarter because you're always nervous about pulling your sub too early.
Was he your only casualty? Was he your only casualty?
Yeah. No, at this stage, the bruises and bumps. But last week we didn't think we had any, and Jace come off with a tight hamstring and ends up missing. So you're always good to get through the first 48 hours after a game to make sure you're okay. But immediately, Lockie's the only one that appears to be any issue.
And just with that accuracy in front of goal, it got substantially better towards the end of the game. Do you think that had anything to do with just kind of controlling that uncontested possession, lowering the eyes a bit and finding better options? And will you take that into next week as well?
Yeah, I think that certainly plays a part if you get better position to take shots from. But I'm really pleased for the boys because we've worked incredibly hard on goal kicking over the pre-season, and you'd think first 2 rounds for one part stage there, I don't know what we had early in the game, but you know, last week we kicked 16-24, and at one stage today we might have been 1 goal 6, so we were 15 goals 30. We weren't going so good, but goal kicking so in the moment. It can happen really good and can go turn, and that's what we've seen today. Second half, I think we kicked 7 goals 2 from set shots, so turns. Good on you.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ken.